Bonjour. I wanted to have a quick discussion on depression versus sadness. What classifies depression? And by medical textbooks, I study that it's a certain amount of feelings for a certain amount of time. But I don't think that it's that simple. I think they're a little intertwined, meaning prolonged sadness leads to being depressed. We go through minor, maybe major, depressive episodes throughout life, right? Because you can have all the symptoms of depression for maybe a day because you went through something that day. Unwanted circumstances and unwanted trials. You're crying, you don't want to eat, you don't want to hang out with your friends, you don't have any interest in doing anything, you barely want to shower, you just want to lay in bed. Now that happens. In that moment, you have all of the symptoms of depression, but you're temporarily sad, depressed, having a depressive moment, depressive episode. Now, it happens throughout life, and I think that it's normal. But what's not normal is if you can't come out of it, or if you fall into it more often than not, or, this is the biggest one, if you fall into it for no apparent reason. Nothing has happened, but you just feel depressed or sad. It's important to know how to come out of these phases quickly and with grace. And by grace, I mean giving yourself patience, grace, understanding, and time. Understanding that you are human and that life is not always peaches and roses, especially once you become an adult. When you become an adult, and even in childhood, your babies cry quite often. Teenagers break up with their first love, and you get sad. You have all of these moments happening all throughout life, and sometimes it's very easy to come out of it if you're surrounded by others, if you have a support system. But what about the times that you don't? For example, I personally went through one of these episodes recently, and I live away from all of my high school friends, college friends. I live away from my family. I'm on my own, trying to pursue this medical degree. I am completely on my own. And I've actually been on my own for about 5 years now. So all of the depressive episodes that I've had throughout these 5 years, of course, I could pick up a phone and call my loved ones. And I'm so thankful for the loved ones that I can call and reach out to. But you and I know that there is nothing better than a hug from somebody that you know genuinely loves you. When you give somebody a hug that you love and they just hug you tighter, that feeling right there, nothing compares to that. Nothing compares to sitting down across from your loved one and explaining what's going on and opening up and just getting a chance to release all of the inner thoughts and emotions that are building up. To laugh, to smile with somebody, to watch a good movie, to go on a walk with somebody that you love. All of these things we need, but sometimes we aren't lucky to have them. So what has that taught me? It taught me that I need to have a way to come out of these episodes on my own so far. I can share the things that I've kind of done, the things that I do to get out of these depressive episodes when I'm completely isolated and actually have an enormous amount of free time. That's the tricky part. Everybody wishes to be free. We all wish for freedom, free time, nothing to do. But then when you actually have nothing to do, we're antsy. We're incapable of actually enjoying the free time, and we try to fill it in with tons of guilty pleasures. And by guilty pleasures, it's going to be different for everybody. Some people, it's constant stimuli with other people, forming new relationships. For some people, it's alcohol or drugs. Other people have shopping addictions. Social media is a big one now, to kind of just take you away from what's happening temporarily, a temporary band-aid. But I found myself in a depressive episode and literally having nothing to do. I didn't have to study. I didn't have to work. I didn't have to do anything. And the first thing I did was start to work out. The very first thing I did was to factor in myself, to factor in a time every single day, or at least 5 days a week where I go and I spend an hour to 2 hours, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever I can that day, however good I feel that day. Look myself in the mirror at the gym and to just feel love myself, to give myself love, to admire my body, to call myself beautiful, to pick myself up, to look at myself in the mirror and to dry the tears and to say the things that I wish somebody else would say, and then to take my arms and wrap them around me and to give myself a warm embrace. Now, it's not easy to do this, okay? It's not easy to comfort yourself. Some people are born being able to do it. I myself was not. It's something that I had to learn to do because I no longer wanted to go through life seeking guilty pleasures or constantly needing comfort from other people, from activities. I needed to learn how to wake up and just live, to live life, to get up and go for a walk simply because the day is a beautiful day and I would like to stop and smell the roses. Little things like that we often don't do because we're so caught up in the day-to-day hustle and bustle. But the problem is when you have the depressive episode, having these tools already set in stone, being a part of your daily life, will 100% prevent the depressive episode from lasting longer than it needs to last. And even if you're having a depressive episode, those few moments, going to the gym, going on a walk, doing something in nature, those few moments, journaling, meditating, praying, those few moments are the moments that are going to make you heal. We have to prepare ourselves for these depressive episodes because they just come. It is a part of life. We cannot get away from them. Be able to pick yourself up so that if you ever find yourself needing to pick yourself up, you can. And even if you're surrounded by people, sometimes that moment that you get to yourself is when you kind of break down. It's that one moment that you have where you can breathe, where everything just comes into perspective and it hits you. In those moments, it's important to be kind to yourself, to speak to yourself with positive, encouraging words, and to remind yourself that you are capable of getting through this. You've gotten through other things before, and that sunshine is just around the corner.